How come you're so tan?
Because I was in the sun. Why are you tan?
I was also in the sun.
Yeah. So way back when we were both gainfully employed.
Yeah, that was a good day.
That was good. In fact, this whole story backs up about 2 years.
It does.
Thanksgiving at your house 2 years ago. I'm talking with your best friend. And she makes the comment. We're talking about travel. And she makes the comment, it'd be fun to do a couples trip sometime. Me and Susie, you and Ben, Tina and Jim. That'd be a fun time. It took us 2 years.
Yes.
But it finally happened.
It did.
And so back in, I think it was April of this year, we booked a trip. And the time finally came for us to go on that trip.
It did. And it was so fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was February when we started planning
maybe it was
all
February.
This. But, well, I think the actual booking took place in April.
Okay.
I think February is when we started to land on a place we were going to go and talk about, who, what, when, where, why, how, and bring this little 2-year-old conversation to life. And then who knew? Who knew things were going to change? But we'd already done.
We'd already paid for the trip, so let's go.
I know. I did have a little bit of a, well, what do we do? And I kept reading the fine print that said, you cannot cancel this trip unless you have trip insurance. And we didn't buy trip insurance.
No, we didn't either.
So, at that point, it was.
We're going on the trip.
Go and enjoy or
lose
money.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a good
option. We went on
option.
a little beach vacation.
Yeah.
Down to the Dominican Republic and had a great time.
It was super fun.
It was nice. What was your favorite part?
When it didn't rain. That was my favorite part, when it didn't rain. It really, I don't mind cloud cover. My last 2-3 vacations have been terrible weather. I mean, terrible weather.
Yeah.
A year ago in October, it's always nice in Florida in October. Something happened and it changed, and this cold front came through just for the week we were there. It was in the 70s. It was rainy. It was cold. I mean,
your vacation cursed.
Kinda. I used to have
if you could believe in that thing.
Perfect ones.
I know.
And then the year before, we'd done this big family trip. We'd done all this planning, and all 5 of us get to go together, and it rains the entire week. I was just like, Lord, am I not supposed to go on vacation? I honestly ask him that. With the whole job shift, and then this vacation was coming up, and I was stressing out because my mama's not well, and I just all the things. I did. I said, am I just not supposed to go on vacation? And that tension of all of that, it's probably just my brain, but so then we get there and it rains like 2.5 days. I'm sorry, y'all.
Hey,
It's your vacation with us.
It's your fault. I'm blaming it on you.
It's our fault.
I'm going to blame it on you.
We won't blame Ben. I'll take that. I'll shoulder that.
Well, you can handle that. Well, I don't know. I love just the change of pace, the downtime.
Oh, yeah.
The not waking up to an alarm clock, the kind of being somewhat unreachable for a little bit. The time just to relax, hang out with Susie and you guys, and have play games, have fun, and of course, the ocean was beautiful.
It wasn't it?
Yeah.
And no waves. Like, it was placid. It was almost like a lake, and it was very warm. It was wonderful.
It was warmer in the pools. I spent more time, I think, in the ocean than I did in the swimming pools.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that makes sense. I was there. I did see that. But I don't know. I don't love getting sand and things, so I'd go back and forth from the beach to the pool. And
you're not
both
the person
were so
who washes
nice.
off all the sand in the pool, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
There's little showers there to
Okay.
take care of that. So I made sure the feet were clean. And no, I'm not that girl. It was wonderful, though. And you're right. The change of pace and scenery. Did you have any of when you got back from vacation, having to kind of, I'm so grateful I got to go and getting back into.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. Yeah, the post-vacation blues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
I think the only thing that helps with that is our kids and our dog, but especially our kids were so happy to see us.
Absolutely.
That made it a little easier to come home.
You came home and it was your anniversary as well.
Yeah, the very next day.
Yeah.
We got home Saturday night kind of late, and Sunday was our anniversary. And because we had just come back from that trip, we had probably the lowest, chillest, most low-key anniversary we've ever had.
And
it was okay. It was
Yeah.
good.
well, with the week, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That
super
really
cool.
was our anniversary celebration, was that trip.
2 out of 3 of our kids are all grown,
Yeah.
but 2 of them are home, and 2 out of 3 were around when we got back, which was great. Got to spend some time with them, just the 4 of us, and remind me of kind of holidays when you're just hanging out. We just enjoyed that tremendously. Made them look at all the vacation photos.
What about the one when you tripped? you show 'em that?
Yes, because kids these days, they tend to do something on their phone while they're watching something on TV. At least mine do. And I said, okay, this one's 11 seconds. So I need your attention for 11 seconds. And so they watched the screen and they were like, oh.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I just so happened to catch a video of you and Ben walking on the beach as you tripped over a big old shell that was laying there.
It was a massive conch shell.
Yeah.
It was so big.
Yeah.
And it was buried in the sand just to where you could not see it. And this photographer was saying, walk toward me, hold hands and walk toward me. So we did the obligatory, okay. And we're walking toward this guy. And of course, I'm looking at him and I don't see the big conch shell, but my toe found it. And I yelled, shell! And then I felt like I'd said something wrong.
That's
and
not
so
a bad word. I know.
I'm like, wait, I didn't say anything bad. I just said shell. So now everything is, shit. But it was big. It hurt. And every time I watch that 11-second video, every time I'm anticipating it. And then my toe hurts.
And every time I watch it, I laugh.
There's several fun moments of just, funny things. And usually I get more tickled at myself or people that do things that I can relate to, like dumb videos,
Yeah.
Those things make me cry laughing because you can relate. And I just,
Well,
my own crazy.
we had a good time. I think part of the thing that was kind of fun, I think for me also, was we finally got the chance to just kind of chill and hang out, because we used to do that occasionally.
Dude.
And we had kind of, over the past 2 months, like, we're still talking fairly regularly, texting fairly regularly, but it's not the same.
I don't know if I call that I don't know that I call that conversing.
Yeah, it's changed.
It's really
it's
not.
different.
Yeah.
So it was nice
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to hang.
So you bring up a really good point that I thought about a little bit over the trip, especially when Susie, your wife, would say, hey, did Steve tell you this? And I'm like, he didn't mention that. And I think, well, we don't talk. And then, hey, did Steve tell you this? I'm like, I realize now we don't talk at all.
That's not true.
Oh, now wait a minute.
No, it's not the same.
Booking friends on the show.
It's not what it once was.
Right. Talking about different logistics of starting a new business. That does not count as conversation. And I did come back thinking, we got to fix something. I don't part of the fun that we've had on the air for the last 4+ years has been the fact that our families do a lot together.
Yeah.
Or we're having conversations
Or at least we're in each other's lives to a certain degree. Yeah.
So something, and we were talking to Briggs about this too, like something is just so different. And it made me wonder, when you have friendships that change because circumstances change, what happens to those friendships?
I think it depends on the nature of the friendship, how they got started, why they got started. Are you still in proximity with each other or not? I mean, lots of things. I think some friendships are just seasonal.
Sure.
Circumstantial.
My husband would say transition friends.
Oh, yeah. So when we were coming down, we were still living in Chicago. So this was, not quite 5 years ago. And we're coming down to Middle Tennessee, the Nashville area, to look for houses every so often. We're like, man, it's like starting all over again. You don't know anybody, like doctors and dentists and what church you're going to go to and activities, and you just don't know anything at that point, moving to the new place. And so Ben very kindly offered to be our transitional friends. And we're like, so once we get here and get settled, you're just going to dump us?
No,
You're cutting us
that's not
off
what he said.
like
That's
that?
not what he said. That's not what he said. That is not what he said.
We'll be your transition friends. I'm like, okay, I guess we can be friends with you guys for just a couple months till we kind of figure it out a little bit.
Remember this incorrectly. Incorrectly. No.
I remember walking through the parking lot of the restaurant that we were at.
Yeah, that's not what he said.
So what did he say?
He said, because we were talking about friendships and how you'll meet people right now that we're the only people you know, but you will meet people, you will find your church, all the things. And Ben said, hopefully we won't just be your transitional friends, but we'll be friends for a long time. Meaning you would dump us. That's what he said.
That's not how I heard that.
Oh, I know it's not. But there's 2 stories I've heard from you recently that I'm like, that's not how that went at all.
Really?
Yes. Now you're going to ask me what the other one was. It was, what was that one? No. It was a detail on something, and I'll have to think about it. Okay. But I was just like, yes, you're in the ballpark, but the context is just a little off. And that one, I know Ben May was saying that we want to be friends, but we want to be more than transition friends. Right. We want to be here for y'all, and as you get settled in, don't forget.
Don't
forget.
Because both Susie and I, and especially Susie, called him on that and busted his chops right there in the parking lot.
Yes. We were sitting on my porch, but that's okay.
That was a different one.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he may have said it more than once because it kind of was a joke after that, after he said, hopefully we won't just be your transitional friends, we'll be friends. But yes, the initial was once you do get to know people that you won't drop us.
Right. No, in fact, as we were getting close to wrapping up the trip, I don't think we were on our way home quite yet, but it may have been like the last day or two that we were on vacation. Susie looked at me and she's like, we're going to grow old with Dawn and Ben, aren't we?
Oh, bless
I'm like, I think we probably are.
She got a way to go.
She's got further than the rest of us.
We have a little age gap, but I never think of it until I stop and think about it. And then I'm like, wait a minute. How's that fair? You're right, age-wise, chronologically, you're in between Susie and I.
Right.
But yes, it's been a blessing. And I got to get caught up with her too, because that's another one of these things in this time of job changes and figuring out the new.
Yeah, you guys used to go out to lunch. You doing that anymore?
Well, I texted her a few weeks ago and we're like, yes, let's get something on the calendar, and then life. So we did say once again, okay, we're going to have to get that back on a regular. We try to go at least once a month.
Yeah.
And it's just good because I don't know if you've noticed this, but we females, we discuss things a little more detail oriented than you guys.
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
I kind of. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes I'm aware of that, but why?
Sometimes.
I mean, does it matter the color of the dress or the shirt that a person was wearing when you tell the story? Does it matter how they necessarily felt in that moment when the point of the conversation is to communicate a fact? Now, there may be additional feelings that, are germane to the conversation that you're aware of, and those come out too. But sometimes it's just like, oh, this happened, just so you know. Like, oh.
Sure, facts.
Facts.
Yep.
Right. And they're like, well, did you ask about this? Did you tell them about that? How do you feel? Why do you think they did that? How do they feel about that? Like, I don't know. I'm just communicating what I thought you needed to know. That's it.
So the baby is born. And what do you report? If a friend has a baby and you come to tell another friend, hey, so-and-so had their baby.
Okay. Is it healthy?
Mm-hmm.
And is it a boy or a girl?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
What's the name? How much did they weigh? What time were they born?
Maybe the name.
Maybe.
And if I can remember the first name, that's a win.
So, but that too goes back to conversation, right?
Length and weight and all that, and how long the labor was. I'm like, no, epidural or no epidural? I don't know. Don't ask. I don't know.
You went another layer there.
No, we're not going there. I'm not. No.
Doula.
Is everybody okay? Yeah, boy, girl. Excellent. Good.
So that goes back though to friendships. Let's go back to
Okay.
those relationships because there are seasonal. I think of so many that revolve around sports. You play sports
Yeah.
together. Those friendships are tight for however long that relationship exists, and you love those people, and you think, "Oh yeah, we're like friends." Spend a lot of time, and then all of a sudden that changes, and I've grieved those seasons because you do care about those folks and then you lose them. I'm like, wait a minute, is this going to be one of those where we worked together for so long and like we were part of each other's like stories, our families.
Yeah.
And then that changes. So then, I mean, I can't do what Susie says and grow old if we can't figure out a different way of doing.
Yeah. Because I think we will.
Okay, now I'm going to listen to your answer.
Right? So I have no like epiphany, brilliance,
No, it's
which is
weird.
rare. Normally it comes quickly and easily, but right
I've
now you
stumped
put me
you
on the
is
spot.
what you're saying.
Exactly.
I've stumped you.
But I do think that one of the things is that real friends, it may look different in different seasons of life, but can you pick up where you left off, kind of?
Absolutely.
Right. And so when there is so much shared history, when there is so much just, genuine friendship, camaraderie, maybe similar ways you think about things, ideology, and that, very easy to just kind of jump right back in
That's true.
where you were.
That is
And
very
it
true.
may look a little different because the circumstances of life look different, but it doesn't mean that the depth of the friendship has to change.
Oh, no. And don't you think, though, too, that goes with intentionality,
Oh, yeah.
which that word we throw around that a lot with connection and intentional. And yet, like, if you don't, you lose even the kind of the ability. Like, I think of so many friends that are just like what you're saying. We can go a year and not see each other, but we're very close here. And so we'll just pick up right where we left off. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Others, you think, yeah, we're going to do that. And you never do. I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, some friends are friends for a season.
Sure.
Some friends are just work friends. Some friends are just sports friends or just friends because maybe your kids were on the same sports team or whatever that would be.
Keep talking. My contacts
right there,
are
your
killing me.
contacts
Yeah,
giving you a hard
sorry.
time. Yeah.
It's one of those you cannot stop it.
See,
It's just going to, yeah,
I
because
thought-
you're a good friend.
I thought you were getting so emotional thinking about friendships and worried about that. Yeah.
Keep talking.
Tears were going to start to come
That's
soon.
it. That's it. That was a much better play. I should have done that.
Should have gone that route.
Yeah.
But some friends, are seasonal friends.
Mm-hmm.
Especially I think when there's a massive life change, like a career change, job change, a big move.
Mm-hmm.
There are some friends that I do miss from the Chicago area.
Of course.
Right? I lived there for a long time. But the majority of those people were just seasonal friends in a sense.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening to every word you say.
Okay.
I promise you. And I'm tracking too because seasonal. Can I just be very transparent right this minute?
Yeah.
I'm reminded of the time I was sitting in college. This happened to me a few times. The fluorescent lights, sitting in front of a professor. And the professor, I can't remember where they say. I'm tracking with you and I'm going to prove it in a minute. But the fluorescent lights just did a number on my eyes, and I could not stop them. I'm standing there sitting there while the professor's talking, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't stop. It's involuntary. So I'm going to try to give my eyes a little bit of a pass here. So don't pay any attention because my ears are listening.
Okay.
And my ears heard you say some friends are seasonal and some friends are for that you miss, but because of distance, you can't really get to them. And it's very difficult, which is kind of an odd thing. It just proves to you what proximity will do, because that could be a very dear friend. But that was my question about like levels of friendship. is it enough to have a friendship that you only text?
No.
Because we don't, I mean, we text about business things,
depends.
but we don't usually text about personal things.
Yeah. Because we used to see each other
Exactly.
5 to 6 days a week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about, and I think generationally too, this may be a thing, but I remember a time 15 years ago where a family member, not one of my kids, but an extended family member was sitting at a table, and he was interested in another young lady who was also sitting at the table. They were texting each other. They were sitting at the same table.
Mm.
This happens. Now, this sounds weird to us, but this happens even
Sure.
now. And I'm like, but if it's only a text conversation, is that sustainable to build a relationship?
Depends on the type of relationship you want.
Sure, but I guess, yeah, I guess that's true. Because I guess you could build trust
Sure.
in a level if you're still conversing. You think about pen pals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Prison marriages.
I understand those go wrong pretty quickly. I've never
quickly,
watched
they do.
that show.
But back to the pen pal thing. Yes.
What's that one called?
How many people really developed trust and a knowledge of each other because they took the time to actually get to know each other.
Yeah.
They took the time to communicate, and it wasn't just a physical, oh, I see you, I like what I see, so I'm going after this kind of thing.
Sure.
They got to know each other
Mm-hmm.
and share who they really were because they took the time to write about that.
Yep.
Maybe even text about that.
Sure. Yes. And I do, like, my kids and I will talk about this as far as the seasons of friendship, because I have two friends in my life that I've had in my life for 30 plus years. You don't always get that.
No.
Sometimes you do, but not always. And my kids see that, and they're like, well, maybe this friendship will be that, or this friendship will be. And I'm like, I don't know that that's going to be the case for every person.
Well, and you don't know that going in either,
A,
right?
No.
30 years ago,
No.
you had no idea
Nope.
that those were going to be the people.
No. And because of intentionality, those friendships, and I will give them credit on their part. They kept me as a friend, and because they did that, I reciprocated.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad. I'm thankful now. Now I'm better at that, but I didn't for a while, especially because we moved states. So my best friend in Kentucky, like, we were apart for years, raising kids, all the things, and we didn't see each other hardly ever. And then the one that lives in Michigan, same thing. But because these gals were so good to reach out from time to time, it galvanized that friendship. And then I woke up and went, oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. And then you've got the dynamic of a guy and a gal being friends
Right.
with us. And that, I mean, we've had conversations about this.
Oh, some people have issue with that.
They do. They should not tell me if they do.
But that, I think, is one of the things that I so have appreciated about, getting to know you and Ben,
Mm-hmm.
is, yes, you and I have become such good friends
Mm-hmm.
because of all the time we've spent together and shared life experience and all of that. And at the same time, I got to know Ben,
Yeah.
and Ben got to know me,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to know Susie,
Mm-hmm.
and she got to know you.
Right.
And the four of us also became friends, not just you
Yes.
and me.
Correct.
And not just me and Ben, or not just you and Susie, like the four of us.
And that's
became
where
friends.
it would be weird. If it was just, I think, a guy and a gal being friends, and you didn't bring community together. I was going to say galvanized again because I've, for whatever reason, like that word today.
That's your word.
I guess it's today's word, galvanized. But if you didn't make that effort for everybody to get to know one another, I could see where people would go, what? What are you doing? But I've had this conversation. I've asked people that are like counselors and things like that, Because
Oh, yeah.
in our former job, we'd have people on that would talk about this and can guys and gals be friends? And the answer is yes, with very aware boundaries.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay.
Transparency.
And transparency.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Talking to spouses.
exactly.
And making sure that everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows. Yeah.
Yep.
And you do have to be intentional about that because you kind of forget sometimes. You're like, oh, yeah, we'll just go do that. And it's like, oh, no, wait a minute. We can't just go do that. We need the spouses to know. We need the colleagues to,
Yeah.
there needs to be that accountability there.
Yeah. All right. So my question to you as you're listening or as you're watching is, what have you done that has helped lead to long-term friendships? Like, has there been, in a sense, like the secret sauce to having a friendship go the distance, whatever that might mean? Maybe it's 30 plus years, like some of your friends. What has been the thing you think that has led to the longevity of that friendship? So you can comment, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast or connecting with us on Facebook, however you've connected, love to know what you think has been the reason that your friendships have endured.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that would be great. You could be friends with my contacts today because
That'd be good too.
been such a pain. Oh my goodness. Thanks for enduring with us. Sometimes you just can't. I mean, I don't know how you handle that if things are not going your way.
Well, you just galvanize yourself. Sorry, I had to use the word.
You just had to.
And you be
What
intentional.
a friend.
And yeah.
What a friend. Hey, speaking of friends, will you be a friend to Dawn and Steve? We call it Dawn and Steve Plus, but we ask if you would be our +1 by liking and subscribing.